Hey everyone. Okay, so we are in December. We are in a new month and we are about to transition into a new year and a new decade. I wanted to talk a little bit about the energetic theme of December, right? So we're moving from 2019, which in numerology was a number 3, which is the Empress card, right? So we're moving out of a very soft, fluid, heart-centered, feminine energy into the Emperor. So the Emperor is, you can see this really strong, stable tree. With the Empress, we see the heart, and with the Emperor, we see the head, right? The ego, the brain, logic. And the qualities of the Emperor are really about structure, discipline, stability, security, being grounded, being logical, but also independence and really being your own daddy, right? Standing up and running your own show. And we can find this stability in all different areas of our life. So for some of us, we might find this is more about emotional stability, but it could also be about stability with our money, stability in our career, stability in our home and our relationships. You can apply this in any way. If you look at what's happening astrologically, you can see this mirrored in the transit of Jupiter entering Capricorn. So Jupiter is a planet of expansion and expanding the themes of Capricorn, which are very similar to the themes of the Emperor, right? Success, discipline, achievement, and even with Capricorn, we can see emotional stability, right? We can see the kind of sea goat, right? The sea representing our underworld, our emotional world, and the goat representing kind of that climbing up, that achieving. And this transit, this is going to be present all the way through the end of the year. So when we're looking about how to approach this theme, it's going to be different than we approached last year. This isn't a very heart-centered, Empress, feminine, go with the flow kind of energy. This is a much more disciplined, organized structure. And so we want to really plan out and organize our year. What do we want to achieve and what is our vision for this year? So I've created an offering for you guys called 2020 Vision. This was inspired, I was listening to a podcast by my friend Jeff, and he was talking about 2020 and the way that we relate that to eyesight, right? To see clearly is to have 2020 vision. So 2020 Vision is an offering of a year ahead spread for you to plan out your whole year of 2020. I am offering this in 2 separate ways. You can do it with a PDF format where everything's written down for you, or a video format where you watch me deliver the entire reading. It's about 45-ish minutes long to you via video. Either way, it is the opportunity to really have that foresight into how you want to structure and plan out your year, right? Just like when we look at the Emperor, I often talk about him as the CEO of a company, right? So a CEO of a company doesn't just go with the flow and say like, whatever happens will happen, right? No, he looks out 1 year, 5 years, 10 years in advance. He has a vision, he has a plan for how he wants his company to be run and what his goals are to continue being successful in the future. Okay, so for this offering, the same. If I send it in a PDF, this offering, it takes a little bit longer for me. I have to transcribe it all down. But this is a PDF, you can save it in your phone, you can go back to it each month, look at not only the energetic theme of each month, you're gonna have an energetic theme of the year, and you can also provide me with your birth date to look at the card that's associated with your personal year. And then you can plan out, writing down in your planner what that theme is and how to best utilize and work with that energy. And that's the information I'll deliver to you. I'll give you practical tools, rituals, or just tips on what what ideas, ways of kind of moving through this month are going to help you to have the most effective and efficient utilization of the energetic theme that you're in. And it'll be the same information delivered via video. I'll show you each card as I go through, and you can sit down with a notebook and write it all down, and then, you know, figure out how you're gonna plan your year around that. I also like when you book these readings for you guys to tell me your birthday and just a few, 2 or 3 big goals, big visions that you're working with for this year, so that I can deliver this information through the lens of those themes for you. Now, personally for me, I was just in an Emperor year in 2019. So for me, this looked like setting boundaries and doing a lot of work on my emotional stability through creating discipline in my life around my practices, right? So if you were following along with me this year and getting my newsletters and looking at some of the themes, I talked a lot about boundaries, how to set boundaries, how to maintain boundaries, how to act on them, what happens after you set them, so many themes around this. And because I teach what I know, you know, I teach what I'm actively learning and going through. And for me, the discipline that I set for myself every day was stuff like journaling every day, taking a hard look at my relationships and how I wanted to show up in them, setting boundaries in my personal relationships, my professional relationships, what kind of time, energy, resources I have to give, and what I no longer want to give, or what I can no longer receive. And you know, some of this is simple things like sitting down and journaling for 5 minutes every day, but also, you know, setting more boundaries with my time and my resources so that I could, you know, delete Instagram on nights and weekends and have more time to work on myself. So, but once we implement boundaries or structure or routine or discipline in one area, it will also help to move out into other areas of our life. So now if I'm reflecting back on 2019, I'm seeing, yes, there is a lot more stability in my relationships and my emotional world, but it's also affected my career, my financial situation, and all of that too. So it's a really beautiful theme to work with. This Emperor year, it asks us to really stand up, to be more independent, to create a little more structure and discipline. For me, as an Aries, the Emperor is the card that represents Aries. This feels really exciting to me. If you're a water sign, maybe not so much. Maybe this sounds really overwhelming. And that's okay too. Actually, when I first sat down to write out some of my personal and professional goals for 2020, I felt really overwhelmed. I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to go and how I wanted it to look. And I was encouraged to create this spread and really utilize the tool of the tarot to help me work with it, right? So it's just another tool to offer us some clarity and guidance for the year ahead. So I'm really excited to offer this to you guys. The link is in my bio and my stories, all the places. It's 2020 vision. I think moving into the Emperor this year is going to be just really exciting for all of us. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks.